All right, hi guys. We're starting um very soon. I hope you guys can still hear me. Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, thank you. We'll be starting now. Welcome to another Design with Easy session, guys. Really appreciate you joining this session today. Design with EU is a community for designers, all type of designers. Where we invite experienced and senior designers to come and share their knowledge with us. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and we've recorded almost all our sessions, right? Um, all those recordings are currently on our YouTube page. And I know that that is our YouTube channel is like one of the biggest resources for design, honestly. So after this call, you can head over there to watch the recordings that we have already. But today we have a special person. Her name is Felicity Lois. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. And she'll be talking about gamification and user engagement. Lois, our distinguished guest for tonight's design session, is an experienced product designer known for creating visually stunning, highly functional products across diverse industries, including fintech, healthcare, and Web3. Um, her user-centered approach ensures seamless experience, and she stays updated on the latest design trends and technologies. Lois excels at collaborating with cross-functional teams to deliver results that exceed expectation. She's also a tech content creator and a design educator, and she'll be taking this session today. So thank you so much for honoring our invitation, Lois. You can go ahead and start.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I'm so excited to be here today. When you were reading all of the info, I was like, now maybe this. Anyways, let's just get started. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
awesome.
can.
All right. So, like I said, I'm really excited, and thank you, Eugene, for this amazing opportunity. Thank you for the presenter. So today I'm going to be talking about gamification and user engagement. So let's start from about myself. Hi, I'm Lois, and I'm a product designer. I'm also a graphic designer. Graphic design, brand design was where I started with in design, marketing, advertising, all those designs. And like she said, I'm also a tech content creator. But I would like to say I'm a budding tech content creator. And I love this other one. I'm a meme connoisseur. I love to curate memes. I love memes a lot. So yeah. And I'm also a foodie. So if you mention food 3 times, best believe that I'm going to be there. So yeah, that's it about me. And let's dive right in. So what is gamification, right? Is it game design? When you hear gamification, what does it mean? Gamification is basically when you use game-like elements i- to you apply it in a non-gaming context. So when you see games, video games, even physical games, there's a reason why it's very interesting. There's a reason why people are very drawn to it, when people are always playing it, why football has like millions of viewers all around the world, basketball, and then even video games. There is a psychology behind all of that. So, gamification is basically when you take that, try to understand the psychology behind those game and game like elements and then apply it to non-gaming context. And then in this situation, non-gaming context is design, product design, designing apps, websites, all of those products. So you're taking principles and techniques from games and game designs and then applying it to non-game scenarios. So that's what gamification is. And then some most times people confuse it with, is it gaming? It's not, just like already clarified. So let's just move forward. Now, what's the goal of gamification? What is the goal of taking gaming elements and applying it to non-gaming context? One is to increase engagement, which is, would understand all of the reason how gamification increases engagement. And two is to motivate users. Like I said, there's a reason why gaming is so intense and attractive, and people just, most times people can play video games for like hours. They'll just be sitting on the chair just playing. So yeah, gamification, when you apply that in non-gaming context, it motivates users to want to always use your product. It also enhances the user experience. It makes it more seamless, it makes it more easy, it makes your product more fun. Gamification also creates a sense of achievement, right? So one of the principles of gaming is rewards, challenges. So it creates this sense of achievement. And as we move forward, I'll explain how it does that. It also promotes social interaction. It makes it fun, it makes it nice. There is this saying that goes that things are better with friends. So gamification promotes social interaction. It drives retention and engagement. So now let's look at some of the essential game mechanics of gamification design. So one is badges and stickers. Now let's look at what badges and stickers are. They are basically these things um that show your reward for completing a challenge or a point. And some of the apps or digital products that have utilized this gamification so well is do one of them is Duolingo, and we'll also see some other examples moving forward. So now looking at, when I say badges and stickers, you can see on this Duolingo interface that it rewards users for reaching new levels, right? And all of that. So even on the games that you have on your phone, like Candy Crush, name a lot of them, um, there is like sort of like a reward. So badges and stickers is one of the main game mechanics for gamification. So the second one is challenge. So there's something very compelling about challenge. It motivates you to want to like do better. It motivates you to want to take action. So yeah, there's challenge, and then there's also leaderboards. Now leaderboards is, it makes a challenge more interesting. There's something about you when you're playing a game, you're at the top, you're winning, or you're a leader. It's just really really enticing, like you're feeling at the top, you just want to keep going. So leaderboards are also used to motivate users to um want to keep playing, right? If you become a leader in a game, you want to keep scoring, you want to keep going so that you can stay at the top, so you don't become lonely at the top. That's not a funny joke, but still. Okay, so like I was saying, players, when you're seeing your name at the top of something, it's like this huge motivator that wants to make you remain at that. Everybody, everybody desires to be at the top, right? So that's one thing that gamification does. But then designers must be very careful when applying this particular game mechanic, because there's a way you lose so much that you start to feel demotivated, right? The fourth one is journey. Now, this is one of my favorite part of gamification, because journey helps you, like the word sounds, journey, right? It aims to make the process of um the way you're interacting with the product very easy and understandable, and it makes the user feel like they are part of the process, right? So in journey there's something called scaffolding. Now if you see those buildings, that maybe if you've ever seen where they are doing construction around you, there's this thing called scaffolding that they use to climb up the building, and then they stack it on top of each other. Now, in design sense, scaffolding is when you disclose a feature progressively as a user becomes more experienced in using the product. In construction, scaffolding is where you're adding that thing that helps you to climb up, but then in design, you're revealing your features progressively, and all of that. Because most times when you put so many features in one page, it can make a user to to be overwhelmed or even make the wrong choice. But then when you do it step by step, it helps the user make better choices and overall helps your user experience. Now let's just look at some of the examples of how this mind you, we're talking about journey, and on that journey we're talking about scaffolding. Just look at an example of how this journey, how is being used in some real life situations. So for this onboarding screen, you can see that it introduces the features of the products progressively. Excuse my English. It introduces the features progressively, right? So you have one feature to another, and then you swipe, and then slowly, instead of just having everything jam packed. So when you're maybe designing onboarding pages, this is just like a perfect game mechanics to apply. And then you can see this one on the right, that's for Wise. Wise is a fintech product. You can see how all of the details you have to fill, it's not on one page. It's like pro- when you're done here, you move on to the next. So you're revealing the features progressively. So also this journey mechanics can be applied in when you're doing progress trackers. For example, this one here, the first one on top is from LinkedIn. So when you're filling out your LinkedIn profile, you don't have everything just, chaotic on one page. You do one and then you move on to the next step. It keeps you in check. It helps you, it makes you feel like you're part of the process, right? And it also makes you not feel overwhelmed. So we are designing progress trackers. Applying this element of journey is very important, right? Very, very important so that you won't overwhelm your user. We can also see these journey trackers in things like e-commerce app. So when you've ordered and you've ordered a product, now you see that the product is shipped, and then the next step, the product is let me say checked, any of those words. But you can just see like it goes from one, it keeps you in check, it takes you along the process. So the fifth one that's under the game mechanics of gamification is points. So when you're playing a game and you're acquiring points, you're conquering challenges, you're acquiring points, it helps you to gauge your success. It motivates you to want to do more. Now I've acquired like 30 points. I'm going to keep going, and I'll acquire like 100 points. It helps you to keep going. So let's look at an example of points in gamification. So just like you have this for Memorize. So Memorize is a product just like Duolingo that teach people all of those things. So you can see like the number of points earned, and you can also see like your progress. So it wants to keep you going, right? And the sixth one is constraint. There's something about when you when you give people options, but you also give them options within a limited time or a limited environment. So an example of constraint would be like adding countdowns to task, right? It rises up your excitement level, it inspires productivity when you add countdown. An example of where you can see this constraint being applied is in e-commerce. When you go like on Jumia app and then you see something like buy now or 20 left. So let me just show you an example of what I mean rather. So oh, I think I missed that example, but basically, constraints help you make decisions faster. It helps you to boost your productivity. You can also see this in fitness apps and all of that. So it motivates you to want to take an action like right now, because let's say you see it on an e-commerce app. If you don't buy it now, you're going to feel like you're missing out on a good price or you're missing out on a good product. So yeah, constraints is a very important mechanics in gamification. Now there are other mechanics like feedback, avatars, levels. But these ones I just mentioned are like the main ones. But if you read more about it, you see like other mechanics in gamification. So now let's talk about the 8 core drives of gamification. So according to Yu Kai Chao, he created this gamification framework. This framework basically just helps to understand the motivation behind um what makes users to perform or complete certain task. So you can also call these motivations core drivers. So for the sake of this class or sake of this event, we're going to call it core drivers. So number one core driver is epic meaning and calling. Now there's something about being a human being. You don't just want to exist. You want to feel like you are, so you mean something, or you're contributing something, like you have a sense of purpose. Now that's not just a human thing, it's also something that can be applied in digital products. So you want to help your user tell a story, you want to help your user feel like they're contributing to a higher cause. You want to help your user feel like they're part of the journey, they're contributing to something. So one way you can see this core drive, that's epic meaning and calling, applied is in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a contributor based product, right? In the sense that people are contributing. You have thousands of writers, or maybe not even writers, of people all around the world who are contributing. It creates this sense of purpose, right? Contributors feel like they are part of a global effort to share knowledge. So, like, I'm contributing something to the society, I'm making the world a better place. So, Wikipedia is one product that clearly defines what this core drive, epic meaning and calling is. So another core drive in gamification is development and accomplishment. Users are motivated by a sense of achievement and progress. Not just users, everybody in life is motivated by a sense of achievement and progress. So gamification tries to use this core drive to make products better, or to make gaming better, right? But in our case, it's to make designs better, to make user experience more seamless. So this drive involves setting clear goals, challenges, and providing feedback to help users feel the sense of accomplishment as you progress. So an example of where this core drive is being applied is in fitness apps. So when you see your fitness app, you have like you can see your progress, you can see your goals, your badges. It makes you feel like you are achieving something. You're ticking off your fitness goal. It gives this sense of accomplishment, right? So that's for the second core drive. So the third core drive is empowerment of creativity and feedback. Please don't mind my meme. It's just me. So empowerment of creativity and feedback. People are driven by the opportunity to be creative, and not just be creative, to also use their problem solving skill. So gamification, it provides user with opportunities to express themselves, not just express themselves, to experiment, to receive feedback on their ideas and choices. So let's look at an example of this of empowerment of creativity and feedback. So if you're a gamer, you know of Minecraft. So in Minecraft, it allows players to build and create their own world, right? And it also fosters creativity. And as you're building and all of that, you're getting feedback from on players' action, and it allows you to see your results. Now, if you're just inside Minecraft, you're going to feel like, wow, I'm on top of the world. I have the I'm empowered to be creative. I'm receiving feedback and all of that. So the fourth core drive is ownership and possession. Ownership and possession. Humans want to own things, users want to own things, footballers want to own things, basketballers want to own things, everybody wants to own things. So now this drive taps into people's desires to own and collect things, right? And in the virtual world, you're maybe receiving rewards, you're receiving points, assets, or in the real world, let's say you're the greatest footballer in the world, Messi. If you don't believe it's Messi, I'm sorry, and all of that. So you are, and then you're winning and you're just getting trophies and everything. You have something to show off, right? Everybody wants to feel like they can accumulate, you know, own things. So now, how, let me just show you an example of how this ownership and possession is being applied to a digital product. Airbnb, for example, it encourages users to feel a sense of ownership. So when you book an Airbnb, it's like your space, even though it's not particularly your space, but now it's your space and all of that, and you have like possession over it, or ownership over it for the temporary period. So for the time that you book your Airbnb, you have like you just have your space and your time to do what you want to do during your stay. And the fifth core drive is social influence and relatedness. Humans are social creature by nature, and then um this as humans are social creature by nature, it gives us this need for social interaction. We want to interact with people, we want to collaborate with people, we want to also compete with people. That's healthy competition in this case. So gamification is something that encourages users to connect with others, share experience, seek validation, seek approval and everything. Now, there's this saying, like I already said, the first when I was explaining about some of the game mechanics, is that everything is better with friends, right? If you're going somewhere, it just feels somehow when you go by yourself than when you have like people to celebrate with, people to enjoy with. It's the same thing. The same thing in the physical world is what can be applied in your digital designs. So an example of where social influence and relatedness can be used is in social media apps, right? It encourages people to interact, to relate with one another, to connect with themselves, to share updates, to receive likes and comments, and and even share as a form of like social validation. So you see this on Facebook, you see it on Twitter, you see it on Instagram, you see it LinkedIn, everywhere. People want to connect with others in the same way that in real life things are better with friends. In on When it comes to design, also keep in mind that things are better with friends, right? When you're building an application, if it's only like a one man thing, a lot of people would not want to join it, but they would most likely join something that they can invite their friends to join. I remember there was a time this Signal app came, and then it died shortly after, because it was hard getting people to, like, you just sign up for the app, but then your friends are not really on the app. Your friends are still on WhatsApp, on Telegram, and other chat apps. So it just died off. So the sixth core drive is scarcity and impatience. Now, scarcity and impatience is something that drives users to take action. Now you see this in gaming, also in the gaming scene, right? It drives users to, when you have like limited offers, exclusive access, or maybe challenges that are time bound, it makes users to want to like act very quickly. So yeah, that's also very important. An example of when where you see this core drive being applied is in e-commerce apps. I think I talked about this a bit initially under one of the game mechanics. When you see something that, oh, you have to buy it now, is urgent, and is if you don't buy it now, you're not going to see it anywhere else, or you have 20 remaining, you have 5 remaining, and this sense of urgency is something that motivates users to want to act, right? So the seventh one is unpredictability and curiosity. Humans are naturally curious and they are drawn to the unknown. You can define the unknown as they are drawn to mysterious things, right? Things that are not that requires maybe explanation and all of that. So this element of surprise, you don't want things that might come too easy, and also the fact that mystery keeps you engaged. Mystery makes you want to motivates you want to explore further, right? So an example of this where this unpredictability and curiosity is being applied in real life situation is in gambling, in casinos. The fact that players continue to gamble in the hope that they will hit a jackpot, right? Because the outcome is certain. So they keep going. Now you've put in this amount, you go again next time, you put in a higher amount. So this is something that casinos and gambling machines, all those slot machines, they've bought into, and it's something that you can also apply to your digital designs, like when you're thinking about your design process. So the eighth one, which is the last, is loss and avoidance. Now the fear of losing something usually makes you act right most times, right? It makes something more valuable, it makes something seem more valuable to you. So gamification can use this particular core drive of loss and avoidance by introducing consequences or penalties for inaction or undesirable behavior, right? So an example of where you see this is in fintech, financial technology, where I know credit score monitoring is not really famous in this part of the world, but when you go abroad and all of that, you have this credit score monitoring services, and they motivate users to take action to improve their credit score. And because so if you don't improve your credit score, there are things, there are penalties that you can face, such as you might be denied loan, or you might not get things at higher interest rate, or all of that, all of those things. So all of these core drives that we've mentioned can help users to analyze and implement gamification strategies that align with specific goals and target audience. So now I know all of these mechanics, I know all of the core drives, why people make decisions, how people make decisions, the psychology behind how they make decisions. I know what gamification is. Gamification is not gaming, so what do I do with it? How, if I'm working on a project, the real life project, or a company hires me and I need to apply this to a project, where do I start from? How do I go about it? What is my role in this thing now, according to Lai Wasabi, a famous philosopher? Thank you very much. So, as a designer, and you want to like sort of know a process of how you can go around applying gamification, is number one, you start by identifying your goals, pain points, motivations for your product. It's similar to like the normal design process where you research, try to align no business goals and everything. So identify the goals of the product that you're designing. Number two is to know your audience. It's important to know your audience because what is applicable to Duolingo or Memrise or Waze or any of those apps or LinkedIn might not be applicable to your own application or to your own platform. So it's important that you know your audience and you know the kind of things that will best suit them. So when you know your audience, you now choose your game elements. What kind of game elements do you want to incorporate for this your project? Is it leaderboard? Is it journey? Is it points? Do you want your users to be able to acquire points as they go? Is it badges? Do you want to incorporate challenges? You know, so you choose the particular game element that applies to your audience and applies to your product and aligns with your goal. So the fourth step would be to integrate those game elements seamlessly. Why I say seamlessly is that you don't want to overwhelm people, right? Let's say I'm trying to make a transfer and then one dancing some dancing thing that you'd see on the game appears like it's very distracting, right? I'm trying to do a transfer. I'm not interested in all of this thing. So you want to integrate those game elements in such a way that is very seamless. It's not overwhelming for the user. It's not unserious, right? It aligns with your goal. So the fifth one is to set clear objective and rules. How would this gamification elements I'm adding to my design, how would it actually help, right? And how would users use it? What are the rules? What are the objective? What are the goals that you want the user to be able to achieve with these elements that I'm incorporating? So the sixth one is to provide feedback, right? So you want to know that, okay, these gamification elements that I've added now, does it actually make sense? Is it needful for my app? Is it needful for my digital products? Is it useful at my is it making like the user experience of my application better, or it's just for fancy, right? So you want to seek for feedback, know if it actually is hitting the goal. So the seventh one is to, of course, incorporating challenges and progression is part of the gamification mechanic. So yeah, you want to like make your app or your products challenging in a way that is not demotivating, where people now find it so too hard to use, right? So you want to like incorporate challenges and progression in a positive way. So the eighth one will be able to personalize your experience. And personalization is also part of game mechanics, one of the game mechanics that I did not mention. When people are able to personalize things, right? Let's say you have an app, I can change the color, I can change the background, I can change my font, I can do this, do that on it. So um also being able to personalize your experience can make the user experience more seamless. So the other steps would be test, iterate, measure, analyze, and update. The way you do it on your normal design thinking process, where after building an application, after building a digital product, you want to test it, and then after testing you iterate to make necessary correction, and then you measure to like know if this is actually giving us the goals that we is actually giving us the things that we're looking for, or it's is it giving positive feedback or negative feedback, and then you analyze and update. So yeah, so from all of this, identifying your goals, choosing your audience, choosing gaming elements, etc, of course you still apply the normal design thinking processes where you test your app, iterate, and all of that. So yeah, this is basically all gamification is all about. And yes, thank you very much for listening. Go and gamify your word. Thank you very much for listening. So yeah, that's it about gamification.
Thank you so much, Lois. If you have any questions, you can just unmute and ask or drop it in the chat and she would answer. I have a question on my end here.
Okay.
So it says, can you recommend any tools or resources for UX designers who want to explore gamification techniques further and learn how to apply them effectively?
Hello? Hello?
Sorry, hi, hi, Alan. Please hold on a bit. You'll be able to ask your question next.
Okay, so tools. So right now there are actually a few courses online. I think it's being offered by there are actually like few courses that you can find online and everything. So that would be the resources that I know about, articles and yeah, basically things that you find online. So, and then I would also say, like, look out for those applications and platforms that are already applying gamification and study them. Try to see how they do, how like they've been able to achieve what they do, the processes behind it. So those would be my two recommendation. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, all right, thank you so much. Alan, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, please. I was under read. I was not at the beginning of the space. Please, what is this? What is just like in summary? What is the gamification? Like just like definition
Okay.
and like examples. I'm sorry. I was under read. That's why I don't join earlier on.
Okay. Let me just do a quick recap for you. So gamification is when you apply gaming elements. So there's something that makes people enjoy game, that makes them play games for hours, for a very long time, makes them engage, makes them to want to keep going. So gamification is when you use those game-like elements, right? And then apply it in non-gaming context. So an example of a non-gaming context now is product design. When you're designing an app, a website, a digital product. So you're going to take inspiration or elements of gaming and apply them. When you apply them, it motivates people, it helps give you a better user experience. So yeah, that's basically what gamification is. It's not, most times it's being mistaken with gaming, but gamification is not gaming. No, it's not. It's applying principles and techniques from games and game design and applying them to things that are not inherently game related. And then I also talked about the goal of gamification: increase engagement, motivate users, promote social interaction, makes things fun. And I talked about like essential game mechanics. So what are these game elements now? When you're saying you're applying game elements to non-gaming scenarios, what are these game elements? Example like badges and stickers. An example of where badges and stickers are used are for example, Duolingo. Duolingo is an app where you can use to learn languages, right? So you can see like if you explore the app, you see that they have a lot of game-like elements. By game-like elements, it doesn't mean that like they are fighting inside the app, right? No, those game-like elements like badges and then challenge. Challenge is a very important part of gaming, right? So you're applying it to products. Leaderboard. Leaderboard is when you're winning, right? Or you can see the people that are winning. Like maybe let's say you're playing FPL, for example, and then your football club is at the top of it, right? So that's those leaderboard. You can see the people that are winning and how many points they have. So these are things that you can apply to your product design. You can apply to your app, your website to make it better, to make users want to use them. Now, you're applying it to your design does not mean that your design is necessarily a gaming app. No, it could be anything. So that's just a basic recap of it. There are also other mechanics under gamification. So yeah, that's basically it. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. It
You're
was
welcome.
very helpful. This your slides. Where can like is there like a link to get them like on Twitter or somewhere? This your slides.
Um,
Um, we'll be posting the recordings and the slides. So you can follow us on Twitter. You get it there.
Okay.
So our
I
socials
follow you
are in
on Twitter.
chat. Okay, awesome. You get we'll be posting it there. We'll collect it from her and then we're posting it there, and you
Okay,
can get
thank you so
access
much.
there.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Lois, can people reach out to you on social media?
oh yes. So you can follow me on TikTok, Lisha Lois, Lisha Lois. On Twitter, Lisha_Lois. On Instagram, Felicity.Lois. Oh, okay. Should I type it out?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you're helping me with the links already. And on Instagram, okay.
All right.
Are there any other questions?
I think Noye's hand is up, so it seems like she has a question. You can unmute and ask.
Okay, hi Lois. Thank you for this session. I really learned a lot and I enjoyed the memes a lot. I was trying so hard not to keep laughing throughout the presentation and class. That was really amazing. Okay, so I was just thinking, right, when you said that we should not make the achievements so much so as not to demotivate the users. And I was thinking, is there like any practical example you can use to pass this, like yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I think that should be under, I think, points or
Mm.
constraints. Yeah. So I was actually thinking about it when I was preparing my slides, right? About, okay, if you say don't do it too much so that you don't demotivate people. Oh, yeah, don't, like, if someone is losing, I think that's the particular context. If you are losing too much
Yes,
in the
yeah.
game, you'll be negatively impacted. So I was thinking about solutions to these things, and I thought of, okay, what about like maybe a pop-up that motivates you to, oh, you can keep playing, keep trying, maybe like a mini aspire to aspire session, just design one.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe something on the app that encourages you to, oh, keep playing, or something that says, if you play this, you would get to this, like a progress bar, right? Yeah, I think that's something that could be very helpful in making someone not feel demotivated, or giving them other options of things they can join. Maybe if they're not winning here, they could join this other one to win. Somehow you're a winner. Or giving them points, right? For example, on Instagram, when you post reels, they tell you congratulations. They started doing this thing like recently. They tell you congratulations on your first reel, right? Even though the reel is not the best, but you're just being congratulated for at least posting your first reel. And then when you post a number of other reels, I think they also tell you that you're doing well, something like that. So I think that's something that could be helpful, right? Maybe offering the user another option, or encouraging them throughout the way, even though whatever they're doing might not be like super great, but like at least you're doing it. So it's something. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was clear. Thank you.
Oh,
Someone hand is up to. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce your name, and I don't want to remember it. Ray, I'll just call you Ray. Yeah, you can unmute and ask your question.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Am I audible?
I
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, I just wanted to chip in with the question Avon you asked now. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name appropriately. So an example of a product that uses this gamification technique is, like I mentioned two, but I'm sure there's quite a lot more. In fact, there's a lot more. So Duolingo is a very big one. Now on your iPhone, there's the iPhone fitness application. It does that so much. Now how they do it is, if you create a a challenge on your fitness app, maybe you want to take 8,000 steps every day. I do this. So just because, our work is mostly you're sitting in front of your chair and you need to just get some working. So if I'm not able to close that link, I'll just get this notification and say something like you're not able to close your work ring today. Try again tomorrow. Just something that motivates you. And for me, it makes sense. And I don't feel guilty. The thing about setting goals and not being able to meet up to your goals, and you just feel really bad. And I think that's an aspect that gamification can really help users with. And I think that's what the presenter was also explaining. Another example to that is there's this pretty viral Bible application recently just came out is version. I don't know how long it's been in vogue, but it's it uses gamification really really is one of the best examples of gamification that I've seen. Now they use so many aspects of gamification on that Bible application. So if you are a Christian, or even if you're not, you just want to explore an example of gamification, I think you should check out version. It's both on the App Store and the Play Store. So just check it out. There's so many examples there that uses this gamification technique, and I think it will really, really shed more light to some of the things that were explained here. So my own question, sorry, I don't know if I'm taking too long, but my question to the host is have you particularly used these techniques? And if you've used them, um, did you were there any metrics that you could really, really say that you were able to test um, the potency of gamification? Did you do any user testing? Did you interact with your users particularly? And how did you get your feedback able to say that these techniques work?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And also thank you for the examples that you used. When I was actually preparing this slide, I thought of you version because I use it a lot. Yeah, like on days when you don't study your Bible, like if you just highlight something, they tell you congratulations for highlighting. Like they make you feel like you're one very big boss, even though you've not read the entire Bible. So yeah, thank you for that. So one of the cases where I applied gamification is for a tracker for an app, right? What I mean by tracker is like delivery app, and then you're trying to like track. So initially, the tracking system was like, how would I put it? It was just there, and then we just did like a bit of research to try to break it down into something that is not overwhelming and that keeps the user updated and part of the journey, right? So where I work, I'm mostly like a designer, right? I'm not there are people who do user research, and then there are people who do user testing, and then there are people who just focus on design. So it's sort of like divided, like there's a lot of division as opposed to, let's say, you're a Nigerian designer and only you is designing all the pages, only you is doing all this, only you is doing all of that. But then some of the metrics that we got from the testing team is that the users found, I don't know, I think about 35% of the users found the new method we use something similar to this, right? Breaking it down into like steps. They found it more helpful, right, than the other one. And then we also did like a bit of A/B testing, which is like one of the most basic form of testing. And I think a lot more users found the better, why did I say better option? The more gamified option, easier to use. So yeah, I think that's the bit of experience I've had with um sort of those applications being tested, right? And then again, when I'm applying these things, I'm sort of not separating them that okay, here I'm applying gamification, here I'm applying something else. It's just like design. And then you have this small voice, knowledge in your head somewhere. What you know is that you're doing a great design, although you're applying those principles, right? So even when you're testing for the app, you're not testing most times specifically for one thing or testing to back up that particular idea. So to the best of my knowledge, right, it has actually helped. I don't know if this answers your question. I can't really
Thank
hear.
you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Lois. Um, is there any other question from anybody? Maybe there are no questions. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining this session. We are recording this and it'll be up during the week, so you can, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So and then click on your post notification, so you get like a notification when we post it. We also post that we have posted it on Twitter, and you can, get the recording from here. So if you want to go back or something, you can easily do that. Thank you, Lois, for honoring our invitation. We really appreciate this session was actually a really, really good one. I learned a lot and I'm pretty sure that everyone here learned something too. Um
Thank you so
Next
much.
week we also you're welcome. Next week we also have our sessions. We have our sessions every week, right? So you can join us next week. Next week is going to be a really nice session too. And we're bringing a very interesting person also. So thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.